I really wanted to sit outside today because it's beautiful out here. So I'm outside. We're going to chat. If you're new here, I'm Toni, and I'm a homeschooling mom to 4 kids. And I'm going to be hopefully giving you some encouragement today. If you're new to homeschooling, if you are considering homeschooling but you're not really sure, if you're in the thick of it and you're wondering, why in the world did I ever consider homeschooling? What was I thinking? If you're just unsure, my goal in this video today is to encourage you and to reassure you that you're doing the right thing. And you're gonna feel good when you walk away from this video. So stay tuned. This is gonna be a quick video because I just wanna encourage you guys. Because I know a lot of us go through this overwhelmed stage. At some point in your homeschool journey, you're gonna go through an overwhelmed stage of like, what in the world am I doing? You know, I started to go through that about a month ago, not questioning homeschooling and should I be homeschooling, but questioning how am I going to teach high school? That's my thing right now. I have a daughter who's going to be in 9th grade, and I started to ask myself like, oh, how am I going to do this? How am I going to make sure she has all the credits and all of this and all of that? And you know how you get in that circle of like an avalanche, you know, you get in that, it starts with a tiny snowball and it becomes so big that then you start questioning, you know, I am failing as a mother, blah, blah, you know, it can get bad. Well, I wrote down just a couple things. I'm not usually someone who writes stuff down, but I wanted to make sure I wrote down what was important and the things that you need to know before homeschooling. If you're getting ready to start this journey, you need to know these things. Also, if you're in the thick of it and you're maybe overwhelmed with just life or with homeschooling, I need you to hear these things, put them in your head, and then give yourself a big hug and you'll be fine. So let's just get into these 5 things that are going to reassure you that you can do this, that you can homeschool, and that you should be homeschooling. Okay. And really, some of these are things that just are going to tell you that you're doing it, that you're doing fine. Seriously, don't overthink it. I want to get a t-shirt for myself that says something like, I overthink everything, because that is me. I really overthink everything. Don't overthink it. Calm down, okay? Let's go over these 5 things. So the first thing that I want you to know, and you need to write this down so you don't forget, if you start homeschooling, you are not going to regret putting this time and effort into your child. There is no way you're going to regret that. If you look back years from now, when your kids are all out of the house, I think if I had 2 different lives and one was sending my kids off to school and one was homeschooling, I guarantee the one that I would regret is putting my kids on the school bus. And I know that's fine for some people, but missing out on so much time in your child's life, that's what I would regret personally. Homeschooling, it's gonna have hard days. Sorry, my hair is in my face. A little windy. You're going to have hard days. You're going to have times where your kid drives you bonkers and doesn't listen or struggles with a subject that you feel like you can't teach any more or any clearer. It's going to be hard. I'm not saying that it's going to be easy, but I promise you that you're not going to regret a day of homeschooling your kids. I've been homeschooling for 9 years now. So my oldest is in 8th grade. We're going on the 10th year. She's going to be in 9th grade next year. And we've had good times and we've had bad times. It's been easy sometimes and it's been very, very hard sometimes. But I don't regret a moment of it. I look back at all those years that I have poured into my kids and all those special times that I got to spend so many extra hours with them, which some moms, I know, you know, the funny jokes they put about when the school year starts and they can't wait for their kids to go back. I've never felt that. I want to spend time with my kids because these years are so short. I mean, I have 4 years left with my oldest, and we started with her when she was in preschool, but I don't regret a day of it. I don't regret, I've said things before, and my daughter just said something the other day about,
she was like, I don't know if I want to homeschool, because can you imagine how much you could get done if your kids went to school?
I was like, I know that I could be super fit and wear my yoga pants and go to Target and shop and get a coffee and go hang out with friends and have a super clean house and have healthy meals made every day and probably have a little less gray hair. There's a lot of things I could do, but I would miss out on that time with my kids. So that's the first and most important thing, really. I think I love the quality time that you get with your kids. And it's not always amazing quality time. Sometimes it's messy, but you're not going to regret that. That's number one. Number two, this is more of a tip. While your kids are young, make memories and enjoy the ride. When they're in elementary school, do not stress about the content as much as the journey. I really think that is so important. I can look back in my memory bank of all the fun times we had together in learning when my kids were little, and I still have some that are little, but when they were really, really little, those days that there were times where I put worksheets a little bit above the actual experience sometimes when she was in like kindergarten, and it's like I look back and kind of want to smack myself. Don't do that. Enjoy the journey. Help them enjoy the journey. And it's not always going to be perfect, but make memories. Take days off. Do not. I know there's different kinds of homeschoolers. I know there's some that are like, they start on this day, they finish on this day, and they will not take a day off, because I have friends like that. And there's some that are, take days off whenever they feel like it. If you guys need a park day, go to the park. You're not going to ruin your child's education because dad's home today and it's a beautiful day and you're not going to do math that day. I promise you. They're going to remember that. We have made so many memories. There was one we did last year where we went to this arboretum. So we brought school with us. We were going to do school at the arboretum, but it didn't happen. We did charcoal paintings of, I'll link the video because it was so fun and so precious, and it was amazing. And nothing got done but art that day. But we walked around as a family, we talked, and we made memories, and that was the best. That was one of the best days that we had this year, I think. It was, and the kids are going to remember that forever. Remember the time that Dad went with us to the Arboretum and we did school at the park? Or we did school there under the trees. It was so great. Make memories. Make that a priority. Number 3, don't stress about checking boxes and getting high test scores and this and that. If that is your goal, I know that we want our kids to be really smart and we want them to get, great scores on SATs. You know that in the school system right now, when it's time to do those, what are they called? The standardized testing. Those kids, I guarantee, pretty much hate school when all they're doing is prepping for tests and trying to get good grades. They're not enjoying it. I was a teacher. I know. It was not fun when you're in that okay, we got to get ready for this test. You want them to learn, you want them to do well, but don't make that more of a priority than the quality time and then learning about God and other important things. Make sure you've got your priorities straight. But I really think that you need to make sure you make it fun, and you need to make sure that you do more than just the academics, that you get to the heart of it, that you have fun together. I really think that stuff is very important. So just make sure you've got a good balance. Balance is important. You also don't want to go to the park every day and never do a thing of book work, because then your kid that's not a good idea. Balance is everything. Number 4 tip, if you're asking, what curriculum should I do? What is the perfect curriculum? All I'm going to tell you, I love to talk about curriculum. I love to review curriculum. But all I'm going to tell you is the wrong curriculum is not going to ruin your child. So do your research. Pick the curriculum that you think is the best fit for your child. But if it's not a good fit, next year try a different one. It's not the end of the world, and it's not such a big deal that you need to stress about it. You need to pick the right thing that you think is going to work for your family. But my point is, don't get so hung up on finding the right curriculum that you're going to give yourself a heart attack. Do your research, find what you think will work, but give it a try. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, and it's not the end of the world. But also, if it doesn't work, It might not be the right curriculum, but you can still teach them that. Let's say you got a history curriculum that really isn't the right style for you guys. Can you still make it work? Can you still teach your kids from that history curriculum this year? Yes, you can. You can make it work. So, and don't be afraid to switch mid-year. If you need to switch mid-year and what you got doesn't work, then switch. Do what's best for your child, but don't stress about finding the perfect curriculum. There's not a perfect curriculum. There's stuff that works and there's stuff that definitely doesn't work, but you're not going to ruin your child's year by picking the wrong thing. So it's not the end of the world. Last thing, and then I got to go take my kids to soccer practice. The last thing is, don't try to make it school at home, which kind of goes along with like the testing and all that. There's nothing wrong with testing. I think that's fine. Don't try to make it school at home. They don't have to be at a desk facing the wall, away from the window. Make sure they don't see any daylight. It doesn't need to be like that. In our homeschool, I've had desks a couple times when I only had like 1 or 2 kids that I was homeschooling, but they kind of faced each other. I'm a big, get a big table or a couple big desks and put them together and sit around it as a family. I really, and I know that's not for everybody. So if you have desks, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying that's bad. But what I'm saying is, I really think it's really, really awesome if you have a big family to do a lot of stuff together, to have it more homeschool. It doesn't have to be like school at home. It doesn't have to look like the public schools. The other tip is do group subjects when you can. If you can teach all your kids the same history, the same science, it's not just that it makes it easier on mom, which it does, but it's also that it is just so fun and enjoyable, and you make those memories. Doing those science experiments together, sitting on the couch and cuddling and doing history together, stuff like that. It really makes a major difference. As opposed to a homeschool where everybody has a desk facing the wall, they're doing maybe online curriculum, there's no interaction during the day. That's not my kind of homeschool. If that's yours, it's fine. That's the beauty of homeschooling, is we can all do it differently. But I guess I'm just saying, if you're just starting out, try to find what works for your family. Don't stress about all these other things and trying to make it look like school or trying to make it look like what you think it is. And I know that would be hard. I never had my kids in school. I went to public school, but I never had my kids in school. So I never had to do that like deschooling where you all have to learn how to not be in school. So I can't really speak from experience because we've always homeschooled, but try to just make it different so that you love it and you enjoy it. I just don't think you can do wrong. I don't think you can go wrong if you feel like you've been called to homeschool and you feel like this is what you're supposed to be doing in life. God's going to reward you with that. He's going to reward you. He's going to help you through the process, and it's going to be great. I hope my thoughts came out in a way that encouraged you guys, and it wasn't all over the place, and it wasn't a big disaster. I tried. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Give me a thumbs up if you liked this. I do appreciate when you guys do that, and just encourages me. And I like encouragement. And don't forget to subscribe if you're not yet subscribed. I will have some curriculum videos coming up. I'm trying really hard not to stress about it because I got to remind myself that too. We're getting to making decisions about next year, but sometimes we need to stop and kind of reassess and make sure our focus is right. Pray. Don't forget to pray. God will help you through this. Leave me a comment and let me know something. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.